Our children, and now let us see how these three economic activities are interrelated to one another. Means these three economic activities, primary, secondary and tertiary, are grouped into three different categories, are highly interdependent. How these primary, secondary and tertiary sectors are interdependent to one another. These three sectors are interrelated. One sector needs the help of another to carry out production. Of the next slide, we will see an example of how the sectors relate together in the production of cotton clothes, part of the fashion industry. See, let us see this cotton in the fashion industry. Primary. What is the primary sector here? Cotton. Cotton is grown and picked on a cotton farm. Next, it goes from primary sector to secondary sector. Here, cotton is processed to cloth, which is in turn sewn into clothing. And from secondary sector, it goes to tertiary, cotton clothes. It manufactured into cotton clothes. Example, jeans, shirts, etc. are sold in shops. So in the process, many other services like banking, transportation, communication, storage means godowns, etc. are also needed. So by this example, we can understand that primary to secondary, secondary to tertiary, these three sectors are interdependent to one another by this example. And next, whenever we can get this, comparing these three sectors, the various production activities in the primary, secondary and tertiary sectors produce a very large number of goods and services, and all these three sectors have a large number of people working in them to produce these goods and services. And next one, by this we can get a value. That value is called as GDP. The GDP means what? Gross domestic production or product. So every year the GDP will be calculated. How the GDP will be calculated? The value of final goods and services produced in each sector, primary, secondary and tertiary, during a particular year provides the total production of the sector for that year. And the sum of production in three sectors gives gross domestic production, that is called as GDP of the country. It means that it is the value of all final goods and services produced within the country during a particular year. Every year the GDP will be calculated, and GDP shows how big the economy is. And the GDP measuring is undertaken by the central government ministry with the help of various government departments of Indian states and union territories. So the GDP will be calculated. But how do we count various goods and services and know the total production of each sector? What is the concept of final good and the intermediate good here? Final good means the final goods, it refers to the finished goods which are sold in the market. For example, if you take rice, rice is the final product. Before rice, what it will be? It will be a paddy. So we cannot eat paddy. So paddy can be changed into the rice, and the rice is available in the market. We will go to market and buy the rice. The rice is the final product. What are the intermediate goods here? All those goods which are used by the producer for producing other goods are known as the intermediate goods. Means producer producing the other goods, they are called as intermediate goods. And different goods produced in a sector may be measured in different units. how we measure the different goods producing in different sector, what are the different units we will use like kgs and liters, but cannot be added together. But how can we add the monetary value of final goods and services rather than adding up of actual numbers? For example, there an example is given in your textbook also. What is the example? How we can count the various goods and services and know the total production of each sector. For example, quantity of wheat is 50,000 kgs. And what is the price of 1 kg? 8 rupees. So what is the value of wheat? 50,000 kgs into 8. That means how much? 4 lakhs. Okay. Then while calculating the total production of a sector, what are the precautions you should be taken? So the value of the final goods is included and not the intermediate goods. So the value of final goods already include the value of intermediate goods. For example, if you count the value of intermediate goods, then what will happen? It will lead to double counting. So counting the value of a good is more than once. By this example, we can understand very well. For example, if you take that farmer is selling the wheat 1 kg 8 rupees. When this wheat will comes to flour mill, it grinds it to flour, and this flour is actually sell at 10 rupees per kg. 10 rupees per kg. Then after that, this flour will comes to the biscuit company by using other ingredients and sells the biscuit at 15 rupees per packet. And finally, it comes to the consumer. As we are taking the biscuit or we are buying the biscuit, only the value of biscuit, that is called 15, will be counted, as it already includes the value of wheat and flour. So what do you understand? From farmer, rupees 8, from flour mill, rupees 10, from biscuit company, rupees 15. So 8, 10 into 15, like that the goods price will be changed. Finally, the consumer or the customer is buying the biscuit packet for 15 rupees. Like this, the value of the goods and services will be counted. Okay. See here, nuts, primary product, plus milk, plus wheat, plus sugar, oil and essence. Essence is called a preservative. Is equal to biscuit is the final good. Like this, the primary product to final product, we can calculate the goods and services. This is calculation is called as the GDP. And now see this historical change in sectors. And generally, it has been noted from the histories of many now developed countries that at initial stages of development, primary sector was the most important sector of economic activity. Okay. As the methods of farming changed and agricultural sector began to prosper, it produced much more food than before, and many people take up many other activities, which led to the increase in number of activities. So first stage, initial stage, we can observe so many development in the sectors. So first, what is the development sector here? Primary sector is the development. As basically we know that India is an agricultural country. So more than 80% of the people depend on agriculture from past generations. So whenever the primary sector is the first, primary, it means it is first. So, but afterwards what happened? Late 1916s Green Revolution was introduced. So that what happened? Secondary sector developed. Whenever secondary sector developed, it rises to the tertiary sector. So whenever the farming methods and agricultural sector began to prosper, began to develop, so when agricultural sector was developed very well, it produced more food than before, and people are started increasing to take up more other activities and increase in the number of activities. So at this stage, most of the goods produced were natural products from the primary sector. So most of the people were employed in this sector. Here you will get 1 mark question. In which sector mostly the people were employed? Primary sector. Primary sector, most of the people were employed. And coming to secondary sector, that is called second stage. Over a long time, more than 100 years, especially whenever new methods of manufacturing were introduced, whenever the manufacture started introduced, factories came up and started expanding. Then whenever the factories were set up, then people started working in the factories in large numbers, and people also started using factory goods in large numbers. Why? Because as they were very cheap. Children, when Britishers were ruling our country, you have to observe one thing, that in 8th class you studied that first of all our goods are handicraft, handmade goods. Cloth also woven by the weavers. We used only handmade cloth. So everybody have the livelihood, everybody earned sufficient income during that period. Whenever the Britishers came to our country, they stopped these handmade cloths and started importing the machine made cloths from Britain to India. These people lost their livelihood. So those goods are factory made items. Those are very cheap at that time. So whenever, this is an example I am telling you, this is in factories, whenever the people are started buying the goods, so those goods are very cheap. So whenever these factory goods are available in a large scale to the people, then automatically secondary sector gradually become the most important in total production and employment. Then what happens? Then the people shifted from primary sector to secondary sector. Then secondary sector gradually became the most important in total production and employment. It means that the importance of the sectors also changed in the second stage. Coming to the third stage, what will happen? In past 100, there has been a shifting from secondary to tertiary sector in the developed countries. In the developed countries, the service sector becoming the most important in terms of total production. Most of the people are important in terms of total production, and most of the working people are also employed in the service sector. Okay, and where are most of the people employed with? Where the most of the people are employed? Most of the people are employed in largest number of people in India only in primary sector. Why? Because it is because enough jobs are created, not created in the secondary and tertiary sector. So that is why most of the people are employed in the primary sector only. And now, rising the importance of tertiary sector in production. So over 30 years between 1973 and 2003, the production in the tertiary sector has increased most, because the tertiary sector has emerged as the largest producing sector in India, replacing the primary sector, because this period transition shows level of country's development. It improves specialization, but it is better to avoid extending service part in economy over 40 to 50% of the GDP. And now Question is what? Which sector do you think has grown the most over last few years? This about this sector, I will tell you in the next class. Thank you. Have a nice day.